Hear ye, here comes the judge. It is the Yogi Judge, Judge Dawson, and I'm here to give you my brief podcast this morning. And just so you know, I am also on Periscope at the same time because I have some wonderful Periscope followers, and I thought this would be a unique experience before I go on the bench to get a chance to see what my perspective and my mindset is in the morning. So I thank you for tuning into my podcast. And if you have not subscribed to the podcast yet, go to iTunes, check it out, hit that subscribe button so we can share information. And as you know, I am a judge that is all about empowering everybody, not just one person, not just myself. I don't do this for ego. I am trying to use my time as a judge in a way that is productive and that can assist everybody. All right, so here is my information, my podcast this morning. So when I start court, it's something I have to decide today. If you listen to my podcast, you'll see a story about a young man that was before me. And in fact, if you're a Periscope watcher, you would remember there was a case of young men who were before me who I had to send to jail last week because they were not complying with the terms and conditions of probation. And if you know anything about Judge Dawson, I am a judge of second chances. I believe we all deserve a second chance. I think we all make mistakes. So I try to give people that opportunity. But if you do not comply with my probation terms, then I have no choice but to send you to jail. And that's what happened last week. So as I'm entering the courthouse today, I see the mother of one of the young men who I sent to jail. And she said, "Hey, I'm here because it's time for me to pick up my son." Judge gave him 7 days in jail. And as I heard that, I remembered that she was the mother who suggested that her son go to jail. I don't know if you remember this, but there was a mother who sat in the back of my courtroom, and when I called her son up for violating my probation terms, she actually said, "Hey, son, go to jail," as opposed to going to those leadership classes, as opposed to going to classes on decision making, as opposed to going to classes about how to get a job if you don't have a job, how to use emotional intelligence. This mother instead suggested that this 20-year-old young man go to jail. So here we are 7 days later. She's at the courtroom door, and I have to make a decision. Now, what plays into my decision is that during the week, I received a report that the two young men that I sent to jail were down there being disruptive. So I sent a message to them, and I said, "Hey, if they continue being disruptive, I'm going to send them to the county jail for 60 days. And of course, by then, they kind of lightened up on their disruption. At least that's what I'm told. So here I am now. I have to decide whether I'm going to let the young men out. And to be honest with you, I'm so disappointed with the choices that they made, the choices of going to jail. I mean, like, it's mind-boggling to me that people don't value their time. Some of us fall into situations that we can't control. We can't control what other people do to us. We can't control if there's an injustice done and placed upon us. But when we make decisions that would cause us to go to jail, that's something that we can control. So I'm surprised that more people don't control the things in life that they can. And in fact, during my meditation today, because some of you know I'm a yoga teacher, I meditate every single day. My meditation revealed to me to move in peace and with control. So when we look at that control piece, the question becomes, are we controlling the things in our lives that we can control? Or are we just giving up our control to other people? Those two young men, they could have controlled whether or not they went to jail for 7 days, but instead they said, "Hey, I don't care, I'm gonna give it up to the judge." And maybe you that are listening, maybe the listeners, maybe you can control whether or not you get in that car and drive under suspension and risk going to jail or risk getting a high fine. I know you can control that. Now, there may be some circumstances that make it a little harder, a hard decision, like maybe you have to go to work. Maybe you have to take your kids to school. I mean, there are all layers of decision-making, elements before you actually choose. But my message today is control the things you can. Control how you talk to your spouse. Control how you interact with your kids. Control how you react to a negative situation at work so that you don't end up on the raw deal or the raw end of a deal like those two young men who are in jail. So I just wanted to stop by really quickly, especially for my Periscope viewers, to give you a little bit of uplifting information before you start your day. as you know, in a few minutes, I'm going to go into court and start my day. And of course, we normally broadcast that live on Thursdays. But also, as I mentioned, go ahead and subscribe on iTunes. Hit that subscribe button so that you can get my podcast. And also follow me on Instagram and Twitter a little bit. But Instagram is where I put most of my information, whether it's about meditation, about being the best you can be, about some of the programs we offer at the court. My Instagram is at Judge Dawson. So other than that, I want you all to have a super fantastic, amazing day. I'm going to take this attitude with me as I go into the court, because you all know as soon as I get into that courtroom, things go all over the place. But I'm walking in with that positive attitude. I'm walking in with the mentality of helping as many people as possible. But if you go the wrong way, then I have to deal with that also. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for giving me your time. Subscribe on iTunes to the podcast and follow me on social media at Judge Dawson. But even more important than all of that, be the absolute best that you can be. All right, until we meet again, namaste from the Yogi Judge. Take care.